Yo, people think it's all about kicking balls. Give me your mind and let it get lost in the sauce. I be hitting y'all off, y'all lost. My clip will never fall off. Nigga, no, we done did it all. Got people licking the balls, chicks kicking the draws, getting bit in the balls. My flow is so much quicker than y'all. My joint is so much bigger than y'all. The print my draws, think with them kicking his balls. I rap buck ball and floss. Show my balls and all, and do the hucker buck until your mama call the law. She better call them all, cause I got shotguns and I saw them all. And my 9 nigga played it in the car with Mark. My crew got juice like Marley Marl. This hot F y'all remarks, Biggie Wall.
If I let this go.
Welcome back to episode 33 of the Randy Wilson Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Wilson. We are back today with part 2 with heavy hitter DJ Lonnie B. Thank you, Lonnie, for being a part of this show.
Always a pleasure, my brother.
It's definitely a pleasure to have you back. After the last conversation, we had such a great conversation, just kind of processing the interview. And one of the things that stood out was that there was still a lot of questions on the table. There's still a lot more things. Yeah. So I'm really happy that you came back to be a part of the show. Before we get into the conversation, again, this is episode 33. You can find this podcast on all podcast channels, but we encourage you to go over to YouTube to check it out. Also want to make sure I shout out Jay Wills, who is really making some big things happen right now with his brand. I have the hat on right here. You can check him out on Instagram at Sono Wills. Definitely an artist coming out of Chesapeake, Virginia, who's making a lot of moves. He just put a track out, and he came in everybody in the 7x7, Lonnie. I mean, when I say he came in everybody, I mean, he's making a name for himself by that's his approach. I mean, you know, his
so he came at everybody?
He came at everybody in the 757. Everybody. You know, everybody who has a status, everyone who has a name, or, you know, he came at them. And he actually, I mean, I think it depends on how you look at it. He came lyrically strong with bars. A lot of people may not like everything he said, but he didn't come really caring. He's even came at me before, to be honest with you. But I actually, when he came at me, he was coming at me on behalf of how I talk, my dialect. You know, he said, that brother can't be from Richmond. You know, I ain't from Richmond. He did a whole reaction video on it. But I was intrigued by it, quite frankly, because it gave me attention to a whole different group of people. So, you know, I respect the art of what he's doing. And then he reached out, showed love, sent me some clothes. So I definitely want to show love to his brand. And you all go check out Son of Wills. He got some music out there. It's fire. But for all of you who are checking into the podcast, this is about DJ Lonnie B today. He's back for part 2. And shout out to Matt Barnes and Stephen Jack up in Smoke. They gave me some inspiration for this format because we got to come with the smoke today.
I'm ready for it.
He said all questions, so I'm letting y'all know the questions are coming. If you're not familiar with heavy hitter Lonnie B, he's a heavy hitter. He's very well known for his Art of Noise platform. Been DJing throughout Virginia for 20 plus years. He's heavily respected in the hip hop community, not only in Virginia, but up and down the East Coast. And so you definitely need to go check out DJ Heavy Hitter Lonnie B. You also can catch him mixing on iPower 92.1. And we're going to also get into his station, because he has a station coming soon, Spin 100 FM. So you can definitely check him out there. But again, this is part 2. So if you haven't seen part 1, go back, because
start there.
You got to start there, because then you're going to have a better understanding into where we're going with some of the questions today. But Lonnie, first the audience is they're sending you back, you know, now for a part 2. Can you just
is this the first? Is this the first part 2? I said, is this the first part 2 for you?
This is my first part 2. This is my first part 2. I took our last conversation, quite frankly, as a professional challenge on behalf of just continuing to really better myself on asking complicated questions that in previous interviews I haven't seen people ask. And so you were so willing to be open and talk. And I hadn't heard in the interviews that you've done before, I hadn't heard, I mean, you spoke to more depth in my previous interview than I've heard in some other interviews. And then the conversation we had, you spoke to some things where it just really motivated me for a part 2 to kind of take it there. And so can you share kind of what your inspiration has been for coming back and taking it further?
I don't know. Like I said, I was surprised I mean, there was a lot of things that people could ask me when they do interviews, and I was kind of surprised that you didn't touch on some of the things that I felt like you may have been privy to certain information. So I respected your professional approach, because one of the things that you said to me was that you're not really, out to be controversial. Not that this interview is going to be controversial, but what I wanted you to know is anytime I talk to you or anybody, I'm an open book. So anything that's on your mind, I don't have a problem with addressing it.
Yeah.
You know
And
what
I
I'm saying?
appreciate that. I'm sure our audience is definitely going to appreciate that as well, because I'm going to ask some of those questions today.
Let's do it.
I gave the audience an opportunity to give me some feedback, and I gave them opportunity to do it in the comments or the DM. So they sent some questions. So we're going to make sure we get them out there. First off, Lonnie, how are you spending your time right now during this quarantine?
Man, staying out the way, man. Like, staying in the crib, making sure that my family has everything that they need so no one has to go, outside of the crib. Spending the time on Instagram and Facebook like everybody else, as well as just realizing and analyzing everything that's happening right now. I don't feel like what we consider normal is going to be back anytime soon. So at that point, it's almost like looking at life, or just kind of reanalyzing everything, saying, okay, so based on the situation that we're being given to us now, how am I going to move and maneuver with and around it? So just really doing a lot of brainstorming and trying to figure out creative ways to keep my brand moving, under these circumstances.
Got you. I got you. So you sitting back, you said you're doing a lot of analyzing, you observing, you paying attention. Social media right now is it's in a new stage. And you're obviously seeing a lot of your peers out there in the community right now on the IG Live, the Facebook Live. Quite frankly, personally, I mean, I respect it because it has been entertaining for me at times. It's also been a little excessive to me at times also. More so if I'm seeing it, I just feel like there has to be a format to it. Like I don't know that I want to see anybody every day.
Yeah.
And it's getting excessive. I'm just curious of what your feedback is on that, because I haven't seen you do it yet. I did see you participate with the Richmond Night Market.
Yeah, I did that.
To me, I still seen that was different though. That still was a part of a.
Yeah, no, I did that, and then the only other time that I've ever gone live as a DJ was with Virginia Union. They did like that was like one of the first weekends that they were calling for the whole quarantine thing. Well, not weekend, it was a Wednesday. I did like a happy hour thing for them. Outside of that, man, I just been kind of sitting back looking at everybody else do the live thing. I think it's great because I think it's great, and I have a few issues with it. It's great because it kind of evens the playing field. If you're a great DJ, you have the opportunity, because everybody is on social media, you have the opportunity to gain some new fans or followers if what you're doing is dope. The flip side is it is being it's being overdone. It's oversaturated right now. And I've always had a problem with doing what everybody else does. Yeah. So part of it is I'm kind of just sitting back watching what everybody else is doing, and trying to figure out what will be my approach when I do decide to go on live. Then the other thing about that, I see a lot of people putting the Cash App thing up, and by all means, I'm not going to say I have a problem with anybody doing what they got to do. I think the thing for me is I've always been a giving person, and as much as I know that I could probably benefit from putting my Cash App up and getting money from people, I think about everybody else. I think about the fact that everybody is hurting. It's not just a situation where I lost my job or a club shut down or I'm in a messed up situation. The entire world is messed up in a messed up situation. And, I think the thing that bothers me is a lot of people are donating money or not, tipping these DJs in their Cash App. But if the shoe was on the other foot, if that person gave up some money or whatever their situation was went downhill, will that same DJ go back and give them some money when they're messed up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I emphasize and feel the same way. I think that there's people who are broke that are willing to use their credit card on Cash App to flatter,
exactly,
a fanning out to some degree also, and it's like going to the club and knowing your mortgage is due tomorrow, but you're going to go ahead and try to, steal swipe the credit card on a bottle
Yeah.
and knowing good and well that you can't. You know, now it's like you have the opportunity and leisure to just do it at home on the internet. You struggle.
I just thought about it. It's almost like going to the strip club. These DJs are like strippers now. You know what I'm saying? They act like they care about you. You know what I'm saying? They do all this stuff, smile at you through the camera. You know, shout you out. You know, take your money, but then they don't care about you. They count how much money they got and they leave the strip club and go back to their regular life. So I'm sure that's not all DJs, and I'm pretty sure a lot of DJs probably need it. My thing is, it should be a two-way street. If you're going to ask people for money because of your situation, you should also care enough that when you see people in messed up situations, you know, give them money as well.
Yeah, for sure. So you said you sit back and you observe. Or like, have you observed anything with a DJ and watching them? I mean, is there anything that you've picked up on? Is there anything that you've learned or that you've gained just based off the observation of DJs in this way?
It's quite a few things, and I will probably say you'll see me doing it more so than I'm gonna talk about it, because if I do too much talking, people might beat me to it.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that the other thing is, you know, I've watched it go from DJs playing because they want to play some good music to make people feel good, to it being strictly about the numbers of how many people are actually in your room. If I was DJing and it was 10 or 15 people in there and they were enjoying the vibe, then I'm cool. I'm cool with that. I don't feel like it was any less successful than if I had, you know, 1,000, 2,000 people in there. Yeah. Because I really want to find that space where I can just turn on my IG Live or my Facebook Live, turn on my turntables, and just rock out with what's in my heart. And people come to me because they appreciate what I bring to the table.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're looking forward to seeing. Well, you know, by the time people have seen this video, they're going to have an opportunity to see us, see us engage on live, because we're going to kind of have an after conversation related to this. Maybe we can, I'm going to encourage some people to get in the comments when we do that live to kind of see if we can get you on that, because you look like you got a setup right there at the house that you could really do some serious work.
Yeah, no, I can't. But you know what I've also found out? Like, if we were to do the split screen, like if you shared the screen with me, the quality wouldn't be good. Like, I have everything hooked up. So if I was DJing just strictly on my page or on a page by myself, it'll be crystal clear. But when you share the screen, for whatever reason, it goes back to the default phone setting. So, yeah.
Okay. I got a lot to learn, man, from this technology.
Yeah.
That, man. So in keeping this question strictly Richmond, you play a lot of different scenes. I mean, you play the Rabbit Hole. You may be doing an event for the governor. You may be at the VMFA. I mean, you could be doing a community event. You could be on the pop scene. Like, you could be in a lot of different spaces. And Richmond has been, to some degree, I'm going to say commercially divided to some degree. I think it's a commercial piece, but I think there's some different pieces. As you've heard the RVA conversation, you've heard the Richmond conversation. When you are performing in different environments, are you able to decipher a difference between the audience that you're performing for, whether it's an RVA audience and a Richmond audience?
I've heard people have that conversation a lot, the whole Richmond versus RVA thing. I don't know if I've peeled the layers off deep enough to be able to differentiate the two.
I think there's times where even in the Richmond audience, there's some RVA, and even in the RVA office, there's some Richmonders. But I mean, it's such a conversation, and I asked that question because you cater to a broader demographic than some other DJs, just based off the opportunities that you have to do music. So I'm just curious in that question in regard to if you've seen differences, like when you're mixing, you're feeling the energy off the crowd. Yeah. And it contributes a big part to what you play and how you play it. So I'm just curious to that question.
Yeah. I never get too deep into whether this is a RVA crowd, if it's a Richmond crowd, if it's a bougie crowd, if it's a hood crowd. I just analyze the vibe, and, you know, whatever I see them, you know, responding to is the direction I go. Maybe I'm gonna have to get somebody. I know Kelly has had the conversation a lot about the Richmond versus RVA thing. So yeah, I might need somebody to school me on it. So the next time we talk,
It just
I can
seems to
come
be.
back
It
to
just
it.
seems. Yeah. I mean, it's a conversation that comes and goes. I think, but I think there's some substance to the conversation, though. I think we're continuing to expand on it. Quite frankly, I think that the RVA situation has been because of the marketing and the imagery that you see out there. I think it's basically a commercialized version of a lot of people, including myself, who've moved into Richmond, who's kind of transcended into Richmond. And I think sometimes the home turf feels that Richmond gets camouflaged and kind of gets put in the back. There's some people that kind of feel that way. Marrying a Richmond woman, I've kind of seen and heard both stories because she constantly reminds me that I'm RBA.
Really?
She said, you've been here a long time, but nah, you
You're
can't
not
have that.
Richmond.
She ain't giving me that.
Okay, I like that.
So, Lonnie, this was a question that came to me through the DM. Is there
Okay.
any chance that the Super Friends could get back together and make music?
We've talked about it. I think the one thing that I've always said that if we did it, it would have to be for fun. Like it couldn't be because we're trying to, put out a single. It would strictly have to be something we're doing for fun. That if we did it and shot a quick little video for it, if we posted it and it got 500, 1,000 views, that's it. We will move on back to our regular lives. Like I couldn't see us going at it like trying to put a whole bunch of time, energy, and money into putting out a Super Friend project. But there's been quite a few conversations about us just getting back in the studio to do some like just freestyle stuff, some back-to-back lyrical stuff.
I'm hoping to see you all do that. Can you speak to how the relationship has evolved? I mean, as you guys have grown up, you grown men now, you got children and growing up and families and things. How has your relationship evolved over the years?
Of course, when we were younger, man, it was what brought us together was the music. It was, wanting to be around dope individuals, making dope music. And I think that's where we started. But now we're grown men. You know what I'm saying? So it's deeper than me being on stage with somebody and, somebody making a track for me. Like when we had the conversations, we don't even talk that much about, music anymore. Yeah. It's more about families. Like how are the kids and what can I do to help inspire your kids? What can you do to help my kids? How's the wife doing? What's your yard looking like? You know what I'm saying? So yeah. We've evolved and it kind of goes to show that it was always deeper than music, because if it was strictly about music, there wouldn't be a lot of conversation, but we still talk on a pretty regular basis, man. Like I would definitely consider, the majority of everybody in that crew like my brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you be focused on the grass, bro?
Yeah. Look, well, you know what? So I ain't gonna front. I find the people that focus on the grass and I make sure I pay them to make sure my grass look like I focus on it.
So yeah, I mean, look, man, you ain't hurting in this corona, bro. Look, I be on my grass, man. People who know me well, they know. Like I'm ready to go to bat with people on this grass game, man. I'm trying to compete. You know what I'm saying, with the golf course.
Yeah, I might need to holler at you. I might need to holler at you after this session, man. I might need to, acquire your services.
Bougie, man. I'll go hook the trailer up and come on over there and go and take that money, man.
Man, listen, I got it for you. You know what the crazy thing about me is I have OCD. So I think originally I was trying to get my yard straight, and I was telling my wife, yo, we need a lawnmower, we need a weed eater, we need a blower. Y'all went and bought all that stuff. I cut my grass one time. Probably a week later, my brother came and picked up all that stuff, and he's probably still got it. And I just hired somebody to do my yard for me.
I mean, it's definitely a time thing. My wife sometimes gets frustrated with the fact that I'll spend, hours and hours and hours on the grass. And I'm OCD about my grass. Like my first cut of the year is not just a cut, because there's some grass that ain't where the other grass is. So I'm out there giving it like a fade in some places. I'm out of control, man. I'm out of control with it, man.
Yeah.
But so in the last interview, you spoke about what was required in being a heavy hitter. You spoke about having to be one of the biggest DJs in your market.
Yeah.
Can you go into more detail on this? And the reason why I'm asking, because there's a lot of quality DJs out there who are successful that have not become heavy hitters. And I'm sure many of them, if given the opportunity, would love to have that credential and would love to be a part of that crew. So can you speak a little bit about that? Because I'm just curious. I think there's some DJs out there who may want the feedback. I mean, this is an opportunity for them to hear directly, like how you can become a heavy hitter, possibly.
Yeah, there's no application for the heavy hitters. You can't apply. You really got to be doing your thing and then be noticed. Like, you got to be in a situation where the powers that be notice you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of DJs in the city that I know that are doing their thing, and I've seen some dudes. Another part of being a heavy hitter is you got to be loyal, though. You know what I'm saying? You got to be loyal and you got to be passionate about it. If you don't have those qualities, I don't know if I would recommend, for people to be, in the crew. I've only recommended 3 people to be in the heavy hitters, and I've been in the crew for like 15 years. That was Megan Wright, DJ Lil Vegas in North Carolina, and my daughter Aaliyah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Loyalty is something that's tough, particularly in hip hop. It's tough.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see how that can be a challenging thing.
Yeah, because sometimes people want the notoriety more than they want the brotherhood. Like, the heavy hitters is a family, it's a brotherhood. So it's more than just a logo that you're going to put on your flyer or a drop that you're going to play in your mix. And, if you don't have that family quality, that loyalty, that I'm going to represent this like it's my family. I see through the, you just trying to take advantage of the name and the brand, hoping that it's going to bring more to you in the long run. So
it's 2020 now. You've been a heavy hitter since early 2000s, right?
Yeah, like 2004, 2003, 2004.
Do you feel like the heavy hitter name is still as relevant and powerful in 2020 as it was then?
It depends. I definitely think it's powerful. The one reason that I think it's powerful is, I keep saying it, is the fact that it's a family.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that it's a family, man, there's not many DJ families left.
Yeah.
And, there's a couple crews, but not families, man. Like, again, through all this whole COVID stuff, man, we sit there and we make sure everybody is good, mentally, physically, financially. It's really like a DJ fraternity.
Okay.
So with that being said, there's a lot of people, a lot of younger DJs and even older DJs that could really benefit from that brotherhood, from the knowledge, the guidance. So I would definitely say it's just as relevant as it was then, and necessary.
When you got in, who recommended you?
Al Lindstrom. Al Lindstrom was a record rep. So when I got into the heavy hitters, it was pretty much strictly a New York thing. I think they had a few people in Jersey. I know Felly Fell from California was already in it, but they were trying to expand it more down south. He was a record rep, and him and Enough talked. And I think Enough mentioned to him that, I think Al mentioned him to, mention my name to Enough, and Enough knew me from the Aaliyah record. Mm-hmm. And that's when he said pretty much that he wanted me to be in the crew.
I've been familiar with it since the early 2000s. I'm showing my age. Yeah. I mean, I remember the beginning of it to the point of understanding how impactful and powerful it is. I think for me, when I see you guys do that thing you do every year, that retreat.
The retreat, yeah.
Just being a Virginian now, you know what I'm saying? It for me, it brings a sense of joy to see one of our own out there, mingling amongst the world's greatest DJs. I mean, I think there's a lot of people in Richmond that kind of feel that way, who follow you and who follow a lot. I mean, just seeing you out there with Noriega, who actually commented in the last post of one of the shows we did in EFN. Like, to me as a Virginian, that's a connection there. It's like we got a heavy hitter. We only got 2 in Virginia, you know what I'm saying? But we got one that's right out there with you, and it gives Virginia a lot of prestige, particularly also on the music side of things.
No, I appreciate it, man. I think the thing that I really try to pride my career on, man, is the relationships, man. Like, I know a lot of people. I try not to be the type of person that takes advantage of situations or people or relationships. So whenever I see them, they know that I'm a genuine individual versus feeling like here he comes. He's about to ask for something else. He's about to ask me to rap on a song. He's about to ask me to be on a podcast. When I saw Noriega, we talked about the Nike Plus running app. You know what I'm saying? Which he runs a lot, man. Like I back in the day, I used to could beat him in the challenges, but he's next level with it now.
Yeah. I'm surprised he runs so much, man, because he smoke a lot too on the show, man. I don't know what his lungs is like, man.
He got some special in that chest, man, because he's doing it.
So when we think about the heavy hitters, we think about the best DJs in the country. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we talked about, you know, how a DJ has to, you know, build up their brand to be one of the most popular, talented, strongest DJs in the market. There's a lot of DJs who have some very strong established brands, and just like Khaled, for example, or Mustard, and I could go on. There's a bunch of they names, their brands by themselves.
Yeah.
You speak to why maybe there are some DJs out there who have some very established that may not be in the heavy hitters. Is it a brand conflict? I'm just curious. Like why wouldn't a DJ Khaled or a DJ Mustard not be a heavy hitter?
DJ Khaled represents a crew called the Big Dog Pit Bulls. That was Funkmaster Flex crew. But DJ Khaled is our brother, like, you know. So it's not just about, like, if you're not in the heavy hitters, we don't rock with you. Sometimes it may either be a conflict because they're all already down with a crew, but sometimes people don't want to be down with a crew. Like sometimes they feel like, you know, I kind of want to stand on my own, or whatever y'all doing, I don't really see the benefit in it. And, you know, at the end of the day, we respect that just as much. If you don't want to be a part, that doesn't mean that we can't respect you as an individual. So I can't think of too many people that have put in the work or that got names like you mentioned that want to be in a crew that couldn't be in a crew. You know,
I didn't know that about Khaled. So Flex got his own crew.
Yeah, Flex had. So early on, I'm trying to think. Early on, the DJ crews that I remember was, of course, the Street Sweepers. That was K Slay's crew. Funkmaster Flex had the Big Dog Pit Bulls, the Turntable Assassins, the Heavy Hitters, the Affiliates, the Core DJs, the Technicians. I mean, it's quite a few, but Flex, the Big Dog Pit Bulls was probably one of the first.
Is there any other Virginia DJs that's in any of those groups?
DJ Foot is a street sweeper.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Foot been doing it for a minute, ain't he? He's Petersburg native?
Yep. DJ Foot, man. That's my big homie, man.
Yeah, y'all been DJing. He's older than you, I'm imagining.
Yeah, no, definitely. Matter of fact, I remember I was 21. I think I was like either 20 or 21. It was a club called Magic City, and DJ Foot was the house DJ. And I went down there. I was just a young guy from Richmond, and you know, around that time, my name had started bubbling. A lot of people had been talking about me, and usually when another DJ comes into another DJ's house, it can kind of be taken. You know, you can kind of receive some funny energy behind that. Yo, me and Foot been brothers since that day. He embraced me with open arms, and you know, there's nothing I wouldn't do for him, and I know vice versa.
Yeah, I thought he was a street sweeper. I feel like I've heard that in just his. On the radio and things like that. Foot's also, I mean, you know, he traveled with Trey Songz for a while. I know he was his DJ for a while.
Yeah.
Foot's obviously one of the, you know, most respected DJs in Virginia. So it definitely
super OG.
We shout him out.
Yeah, Foot the super OG. I say DJ Foot is the super OG.
Yeah, much love to him. We need to get him on the show. So last interview, I asked you about ridicule that you had received from playing local independent artist music.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you hear more stories about that than you hear directly. Can you speak to any of those stories? Or can you speak to that any? Like, what do you hear?
I've heard people say that I was a hater. I don't know. I've heard people blame me for their lack of success because I don't play their music on the radio. I've heard people, you know, just like I'm holding the city back because of what I don't do.
Yeah.
You know, so I've heard that through other people. Like, they tell me what they hear in the streets versus, people actually coming to me to say something about it.
Yeah.
I'm the gambler. I'm the one that's gambling. I'm the one that got the most to lose. So if I play a record that nobody is feeling or is left field, they're going to look at me like, yo, what are you doing? Even if the artist is in the crowd, they don't care about how you jumping around and lip syncing the song in the corner. It's like, yo, what are you doing? So if I'm going to gamble on my brand or, on the vibe of my night, it got to be something that I believe in.
Gotcha.
I can't gamble on something that I don't believe in. The way around it is prove to me that it is a hit. Because if you prove to me that it is a hit, then I'll play it. One of the people I always give credit to is J. Roddy Rod. He got a song called What a Twerk Is That.
Mm-hmm.
That record got big without being on the radio. When people asked me for What a Twerk, I didn't know what it was. It's not the best recorded record, but it's one of the biggest records. When you talk about the records in the city, when you talk about the records that blew in the city of Richmond, that's going to matter in the history books, you got to mention J. Roddy Rod, What a Twerk Is That.
Yeah.
He never called me about playing this record. That record was so big. One day I got his phone number and I reached out to him. And I just told him, I just want to show you love and let you know that it's super dope that you was able to make your record blow without even coming to the radio station to get your record played. I just wanted you to know that I see you and I salute you, bro. Keep doing your thing. And it's been nothing but mutual love since then.
Yeah. So what do you? Okay. So times have changed. I mean, now artists don't necessarily need the radio for the music to blow because of the internet.
Yeah.
Where do you feel that radio? What role does radio play now in the grand scheme of artist success? Because you have Spotify and SoundCloud and the internet and all these different engines that to allow your music to be heard.
Radio is the OG when it comes to getting your music out. It's the way that a lot of people know and will remember receiving music. But like you said, there's a whole generation of people that don't listen to the radio. My kids and them consume music on YouTube, different playlists, TikToks. Those dictate what's hot. Once upon a time, radio would be the one that say, this is going to be the big record. This is what we needs to be. This is what needs to be played in the club. Not no more. You know what I'm saying? So I think that already goes to show, do I think radio is done? Not yet, because I still think there's a space for terrestrial radio, but it is a totally new day. There's a lot of artists that have probably never had a record on the radio or who don't even care to have a record on the radio that's very successful. So much so, there's a lot of artists that don't even make clean versions of their music anymore.
Yeah.
Because they don't care about radio play.
Yeah, I don't ever think that radio is going to die, ever. I don't think, because regardless of what a person's success can be on the internet and moving their own music, if they're given the opportunity for the music to be played on the radio, they're going to do it. But why do you feel that?
Because it's almost like let's just say the National is the platform that everybody wants to play on, right? Everybody wants to perform at the National, right?
Yeah.
Because when you think of the National is slam packed, and every time you think of the National, it's people up from the balcony all the way down to the floor, right? And then you get the opportunity to perform at the National, and you realize it's not as packed as it used to be. It's not as many people in there as it used to be. There's only a few people in the front. Why would you put so much weight on doing that? And that's the way I look at radio. Once upon a time, radio represented the sold out venue that you wanted to be on. Now, there's still people there, but I don't know if you should put that much weight on being on a radio like that's going to be this super big defining, moment of your career because your record is on the radio. You could probably get more traction, on social media than you can. More people spend more time on social media than listening to the radio. Look at the times that we're in right now. If you're a gambling man, would you gamble and say that more people are listening to DJs on Instagram Live and Facebook than they're listening to terrestrial radio in this very moment right here?
No, definitely Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. you've been DJing in this market for the past 20 plus 20 some years, right?
Yeah,
You've been on the radio how long?
21 years.
Is there what's the competition when you have two hip hop radio stations primarily in a city like Richmond, Virginia? Like, I mean, how are you really competing for listeners? You got Power 92 and you got 106.5 to beat. What is the competition? Is there a competition?
You know, any type of business, there's always competition.
Well, I think about it. Like, look at this in the club scene, right? If a person's going out and they're gonna go listen, they're probably gonna go to the club. The DJ playing is a key, and whatever vibe the club brings is a key. You got two radio stations in the city that basically play the same music. So unless you're listening to one radio station because of whoever's talking or whoever's playing the music, you still pretty much listen to the same music.
Yeah.
So I'm just so outside of personalities, like what kind of competition? Because for me, if I turn on Power 92, unless now I will say this, let me go back for a minute. I forget when it was. Big Nat is someone I've always enjoyed listening to on the radio, regardless of what stations he's been on. I just find him entertaining, right?
Yeah.
That's a reason that I would listen to him. I used to enjoy TT Torres. So like I've picked and choose which station I'm gonna listen to based off who. But when I'm in the car, I'm listening for music. If I don't like the song playing on Power 92, I'm gonna go see what 106.5. Now I'm on XM radio. So I ain't listening to local radio. But it's like, I'm going to go, what song? You know, it's because it's just a matter of time that the song I want to hear is going to be on. So that's why I'm.
So stop there. So stop there.
All right.
That's why it's important to play hit songs. Usually, if the radio is playing a song that you know and you rocking with it, then you'll keep listening. As soon as they play something you're unfamiliar with, you just said it. I'm going to switch over to the beat and see what they're playing. And that's the one thing that local artists don't understand. If they take a shot on your record and the people switch out and go to the other station and the other station is playing hit after hit after hit after hit, then the other station wins. Then when the books come out, it says this station is number one. Then our radio station loses money because we're taking too many chances, you know, playing local music. So there's a formula, I'm sure, that they can find, or a time and a place for it, but artists don't understand that. Artists
basically need to accept that if you want your music played, it's going to probably have a higher chance of being played at 1 and 2 in the morning. Is that fair?
Nope. I think so. If artists have it's more likely that you'll hear your record during a mix show. Okay. So when the mix show DJs are on, if you can get your record approved by the program director or music director to be on that list, more than likely you'll hear it during those times. Okay. I can't think of too many records. I could probably count on one hand how many records, local Richmond records, that weren't attached to a major label that actually made it into regular rotation on either station. You know, I know on 106.5 The Beat, Mike Street and them, they do this thing called Flow for locals only. And I don't know, I could be wrong because I don't listen to their station enough to know what they put in rotation or what they don't. But I know a lot of local artists, local talent get their shine on the mix show.
Okay. All right. That's good. So we're going to get back to the controversy.
All right, let's go.
But I appreciate you answering that question about rum, though, because nobody had asked that question. And I definitely, you gave a very solid answer. So I'm interested in seeing what. I'm
interested to know where it came from, like, because who would even think that? You know, I have nothing to gain. Like, I don't know if anybody is, even thought about it. But where I'm at in my career, where I'm at in life, man, what do I have to gain from stopping anybody else's success? I'm one of the people that feel like it can be more than one dope DJ in the city. I'm one of the people that feel like it can be more than one dope rapper in the city. I'm one of the people that feel like I could be a dope DJ and you could be a dope rapper, and there's no affiliation with us other than a mutual respect. I think there's space for all of that.
It needs to be. In order for us to evolve and to to help push Richmond to get past, this block that it's been in, and when it comes to entertainment, it has to be. We can't allow ego to interfere with that. And
I've known Trey Songz since the beginning of his career. Even though like DJ Foot and Big Nat, they were definitely the ones to break him on the radio here. But I've known him like since the beginning of his career. We have a mutual respect for each other. He's a national, well-known artist. I've never gone to Trey to ask him for anything. Whenever I see him, I tell him things like, I'm proud of you. You make me proud to be from the city. Keep doing your thing. If there's anything I could do for you, let me know. I've never gone to him to ask him for a drop. I've never gone to him to ask him for a feature, to be on a song, or to put me on or connect me with anything. I'm just proud to say, to be able to tell him directly, I'm proud of you, bro. And that's what I mean about having a genuine relationship. He'll as long as I've known him, I've never asked him for anything. Chris Brown, I used to sneak Chris Brown in the club because he was too young to get in the club at some point. Mm-hmm. At no point did I have to go to anybody and say, can somebody send me Chris' number? I want to text him and remind him and see if I can. No. If I ever see him, I'll be like, I'm proud of you, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. So, that's the thing, man. We got to get to the place where we can see other people in the city or in the state be successful and not feel like they owe us anything because they're from here and they should do this for me or they should do this for the city. No, I'm proud of you, bro. If you don't do anything for anybody else here, man, I'm proud that you was able to make it from the sticks to where you are now.
Other thing that I have found impressive with your, I've seen more of it during this Corona situation with how you've mixed music and music videos. That's a different piece. I don't know. I've seen you mix music or transit, but I saw the video piece kind of evolve through it too. It's almost like it's telling a story.
Yeah. So musically, sometimes when I DJ at Pops, I have a very big music video collection. So if I'm somewhere that got a whole bunch of TVs, every song that I play and mix in, the video can be on the screen. Well, we do these transitions. Me and a partner of mine named DJ Swift in Canada, we put these transitions together, and he started putting them to music videos. So that's what I'm showcasing sometimes when I post on social media, some of the ideas that we put together in video form.
So what was this? What was you doing in this old lip singing home video? Too much time. What was you doing?
Yo, so
what was that about, man? Take me back.
So listen, that was like 93, 94. No, probably like 90, somewhere between 92 and 94. To be honest, what that was really about was seriously. I had just realized that you can take the audio from a mixer directly into the camera so that it'll be crystal clear. It's not like you'll hear the air in the room or you won't hear us laughing. So it would kind of be presented the same way a music video was presented. Okay. So I'm like, let's try to do this song. We actually did 2 of them. The thing that I should have did was save all the times that one of us would bust out laughing and we'll have to start all over because it looked like we were so serious in that video. But
y'all really are, man.
Come on, man.
Those
were good times, and all those are still my boys, man. That was before the Super Friends right there. Matter of fact, Speed is Swan, one of the guys in that video, is one of the members of the Super Friends as well.
That's crazy. I got a lot of fun out of that one.
That's one thing, man. That's one thing I have a lot of, man. Like I've been documenting my life, man. From the beginning. So I have video footage of me when I used to be a dancer. Video footage of me playing basketball, dunking on people. So when I go back so when I tell my stories, I got the video footage to support it.
Well, speaking of your stories, I mean, look, I said it in the last interview, and I'm gonna say it now. I think you holding out on really coming to the public with what this Meet the Battle situation is going to be, man. I really do, because I feel like you got the domain for it. Okay, yeah. We saw the Battle Brunch. Is that right?
Battle
Brunch, right?
Battle Bunch.
There's no way that you own a domain for it. You own it. You got an Instagram page for it. and I'm just waiting to see you create some content for it because something's gonna happen, man. You seem to be like, look, you open book, right? But
Yeah.
you're being selective in a couple areas and reservist of things. There's something gonna happen with the meet and the battles, and we're gonna get into Spin 100 FM as well because these are two things that I see evolving.
Yeah, so one thing.
No, you're not giving us anything on it.
Man, one thing about me, I have a lot of ideas, and anybody in my camp, that's the one thing that my camp hates about me is I have a million ideas, and a lot of them haven't been executed yet. So, and some ideas might not ever get executed. Meet the Battles was a thing that I thought about, and I was like, I wonder if anybody has Meet the Battles on Instagram. They didn't. I said, I wonder if anyone has the domain. They didn't. So, anytime I have an idea and I see no one has tapped into it, I lock down everything. So if I do decide to come back to it, between the time that I thought about it and when I come back around to it, somebody might snatch that stuff up. So whether it's Spin 100 FM, whether it's Meet the Battles, the DJ Diary, I've always wanted to write a book. So I locked down the DJ Diary. I got this thing I'm about to launch called Memorex Memories. I have 1 million cassette tapes. Here's one right here. Speaking of cassettes and the heavy hitters. I don't know if you can see that. DJ Camillo. Yeah, I talked to Camillo earlier today. He said he actually put that stamp. He had a stamp in his house that he actually put that stamp on. But the thing is, I don't know what's on that tape. And if I don't convert that tape and post it on social media, there's a lot of memories that people will never get a chance to appreciate. So I was like doing a lot of this downtime. I'm going to just convert cassette tapes and post them on a Facebook page called Memorex Memories RVA. I actually got an interview where I interviewed Noriega, and he talked about I think he said he wanted to punch Nas in the face or something. I think it was back when they had some type of issue going on, but I'll post the interview and you can see, what I'm talking about.
How recent was that?
That was like 2000, 2002. I think it was right around the time when he released Nothing, because I think that was like the single we were talking about when he was on the radio.
Relationship goes back a long time.
So that was more of a radio jock artist relationship. Like he probably knew of me because he heard my name as being a radio person.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't know exactly when we really started clicking. It might have been like around 2010, 2011 is when we started to talk trash on that Nike Plus app. That's what really brought us together.
Are you a fan of his music?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm a big fan. I was a War Report. I've been with Noriega since. I grew up on Noriega for real. Like the War Report, Capone Noriega, Nori. I've always been a Noriega fan, and for some reasons that I probably shouldn't, express. But I just remember the days when I was riding around in the car and listening to Noriega. It was that was my guy still, and I love watching Drink Champs. Yeah, love watching Drink Champs. He's been getting a lot of flack lately about that interview he did with Lamar Odom. I don't know if it's all deserved or not, because Lamar Odom's a grown man. He made the choice to do what he wanted to do. Like Nori didn't make him drink, or he didn't make him smoke. But people just been giving flack because you put Lamar Odom in that situation, which Lamar Odom said he wanted to be there.
Yeah.
But Lamar, you could see cognitively, like he was just very slow. His processing speed is very slow.
I haven't even seen it yet. I have to go back and check it.
I'm gonna say it was not a good interview.
Yeah.
It wasn't Nori's fault. It's like when you ask Lamar a question, it takes him this.
Y'all about to say, what happened? What's going on? Yeah, what happened?
It just takes. You can just tell. Like we're having a conversation. It's back and forth. When you ask Lamar something, it takes him probably 5 to 10 seconds to interpret that conversation. And look, real time, it probably takes a good 5 seconds after you said your last word. And then it takes about 5 seconds for him to form a word. So for conversation purposes, it's like you're waiting. It can get, I watched this stuff. So I sit and watched all 2.5, 3 hours of it, but it was, if you fast forward that conversation, it probably could have been done in about 1.5 hours. It was a long conversation. It was just because Lamar is very slow process. And Lamar had many, many, many shots. So I don't know. I don't think Nori got fair feedback on it, because I don't think it was Nori's fault. Lamar wanted to be on that show probably more than Nori, Nor didn't need him on the
want
show.
him on it. Yeah.
You need him on the show. Yeah, so I'm almost wrapping up here. Got a few more questions though. Can you speak to me about all that behind you, man? It looks like you got like about a million records that we see.
Man, so in my crib, this is just a small piece of my collection. I actually have 70,000 records in storage right now.
And you got 70,000 in storage.
In storage.
That's
And they've been in storage.
That's not the 70,000 behind you. You got
that
70,000
has
additional.
Yeah, that's not even what you see behind me. Yeah.
Don't stun on them though. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What has been the process in collecting these records? If you purchase them, is it a combination of a lot of things? Like, do you be at the flea market or the yard sale?
I used to. So I used to go to the flea market. I used to go to the yard sales. Like, I got a lot of records in the mail being a radio DJ. I inherited a lot of records from my parents and my uncles. Sometimes people will have old records and be like, my uncle has some old records that he don't want anymore. Do you want them? And, people will give them to me that way. And I promise you, there's probably a lot of these records I could probably get rid of. I would usually save the majority of all the records that I got because you never knew who would eventually blow up later. And I always wanted to have that record that if somebody was in a group and then later blew up, I can go back to their original beginnings, you know what I'm saying, and still have that record. So
does Aaliyah have a record collection herself?
No, I did give her a couple Soulja Boy records, the people that she can relate to start her little collection, but I don't know if she cares about them that much. My son think they're frisbees, so I have to keep them out his possession. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Just seeing the pictures that I've seen on the internet of your record collection, that's crazy. I see a lot of people. I got a lot of records too. I got a couple crates. Yeah, but you got like 140 times the amount of crates I got because you got 70,000 in storage. That means you probably got how many at the crib?
1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just behind me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Man, that's a lot. I just say it's a lot because it's pretty much like anywhere from 150 to 200 records in each square.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I was trying to do the math.
So I got about 200, 300 records. That's all I got. Now, my dad got a whole bunch of them, but he ain't going to let me get them unless he passed away. So it's like, that's
the one thing I tell you though, man, you got to make sure you keep them somewhere where it's not too hot because you don't want them to warp. Like I pay a lot of money for my storage because it's climate control.
Gotcha.
And the reason I save a lot of stuff, I've probably spent almost $20,000 storing my records over the past 10 years. But my reason is I'm one of those people that's trying to preserve the culture. There's a lot of songs and music that you're not going to find on YouTube, that you're not going to find on iTunes, that if that record becomes a conversation, I want to be able to go back to it and pull it out. Or if I'm doing a special mix and I want that unique remix or something that isn't digitized yet, I can go do it and get it myself.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, man. But that's impressive, man. If you ever decide you got a few that you want to give away, man, I'll be more than willing to jump on them, though. Yeah,
no, I got plenty of them I can send to you.
Please do, man. Please do. So we closing up. I just got like 2-3 more questions as we end here. I want to talk about. I know the fellas are going to really appreciate your feedback on this. RVA Rap Elite. It's a platform that's been created to give artists an opportunity to perform, sharpen their pen, etc. Radio B has went. He's a curator of this thing, and he's definitely aggressively, doing his thing and making sure that it reaps the recognition that it deserves. But you haven't been to any of those events yet, correct?
No.
What's going to bring Lonnie B out? What can bring Lonnie B out? Because your presence in that space could be inspirational too for a lot of people. I'm curious about what could bring you out, because I'm gonna go and tell you now, let this be some encouragement. It can be entertaining at minimum. You would be entertained at minimum. You are a person who's about bars. It's definitely the reason why I would say come out, okay, is because it's not just Richmond anymore, for sure. Like it's attracting people from DC, Maryland, Quite frankly, there's probably more people winning. Yeah, there is more people winning who's coming from outside of Richmond right now, which is giving Richmond. I mean, it's bad that the hometown
Yeah.
ain't winning, but on the flip side of it, it's definitely helping Richmond expand into these other areas because these people are coming from Maryland, Virginia Beach, and to Richmond to compete. So, any chance we could see Lonnie B come in and show up, make an appearance at the RBA Rap Elite anytime soon?
I think it's possible. I mean, we got a lot to get through with this whole quarantine thing before anything happened.
Yeah.
But I will say that me not being there in presence has nothing to do with how much I respect what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I think it's more so, I'm a family man, bro. Like, as much as I want to go, to the club, man, just to sit at the bar and have a drink, there's too many other things higher up on my priority list. And again, that doesn't mean that I'm not rooting for guys, or showing love and respect to guys when I get the opportunity to.
Yeah.
So I think it's more so just a timing thing.
Well, obviously the respect's there. We know. I mean, you've been on music with those guys before.
Yeah. I mean, but even deeper than the music, man, I see what they're doing, and I think that is dope. For the culture, I think it's dope for the scene. I've had conversations with radio, one-on-one about, certain things that I feel and felt about the movement. He shed light on certain things, and I'm proud of them guys for what they're doing.
So what was there anything like RBA Rap Elite in Richmond in the 90s, early 2000s?
Not that I remember. I can't think of a actual network or, nothing to that degree. Before the Super Friends was the Super Friends, well, I take that back. I would probably compare it maybe to the UR House Party. The UR House Party was an internet radio station where we came to every Saturday. It was Mike's Street Show. And rappers, MCs across the city would meet up there every Saturday, and they would do this thing called the Fat Freestyle Clinic. It would start 30 minutes before the end of the show. So for 30 minutes, a bunch of MCs would just freestyle up there. Granted, that is where the Super Friends connected at. There was a lot of MCs outside of the Super Friends that would be there. So that might be the closest thing to that as MCs, we look forward to coming together every week. And you had to have your bars right because there was a lot of incredible spitters that came through the UR House Party.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So like ciphers and battles was occurring at schools and barbershops and parking lots. It was just like it would just happen. The essence of hip hop was alive and visible, but it was just more, I guess, organic. It wasn't.
It wasn't as commercialized. I mean, it just happened. Like, I remember one of the classic ciphers was me and Skills rapping in front of Rhodes Hall. It was a lot of MCs out there when the joint started, and it started to get lesser and lesser, and then it was just me and Skills going back and forth. And I think that was the day that we both ended up having a certain level of respect for one another, because prior to that, we both had heard of each other, and a lot of people from Southside wanted me to battle him. A lot of people from Northside wanted him to battle me. And, when we met, I'm kind of glad that things went in that direction versus us battling each other, because I would have hated to end his career before it even took off. I'm joking.
I don't know which one I asked in the previous interview if y'all ever sparred. No sparring matches.
Nah.
No sparring matches on wax.
There's one song that we did for fun. Me, Skills, and Danger that we did for fun. And Danger wants to put this record out so bad. I don't know why, but it was. Just imagine a record. Imagine like a Royal Rumble between me, Danger, and Skills, where no one was safe. I'll be dissing Skills 1 minute, then I'll be dissing Danger. Danger start dissing me, then diss Skills, and then Skills will diss both of us. And so there's actually a recorded record that exists right now. Yeah, we got it. And Danger wants to put this record out so bad. And I'm like, yo, there's too many other things I would want to see us put out to to show I guess to help build a foundation for our legacy, because that right there would eclipse everything else that we would want to do. Everybody would talk about that record
Yeah,
because
2021, we're gonna have a Super Friends album reunion. Watch. In
yeah,
2021, I'm speaking into existence. We're gonna have the because I mean, I asked Skill. Skill said, "Look, man, you gotta ask Lonnie when y'all gonna
man.
come back together." He said, "Ask Lonnie." He put it back on you, man.
Well, you know what? Again, both of those guys are my brothers, man. I know that if I said let's do it, it'll be done. I think they probably think I don't have it no more, or I don't have the passion or the pen anymore. So that's probably why he said it. But yeah,
Is that what you think? I
what?
didn't think that. I didn't take it that way because I heard you on the. I've heard you on too many things to know that that's not the case.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they question my passion. Funny story. I remember being like right around the time when I was fading out with the whole Super Friends thing. We were on a conference call. It was me, Skills, Danger, and I think it was Reef Tulo. That was Skills A&R, and he was talking about something. And he named the artist. And when he named the artist, I was like, "Yo, can you give me a drop?" And I was thinking from the DJ, and Skills and Danger both sucked their teeth and was like, "Yo, are you a rapper or are you a DJ?" You know what I'm saying? So, I think that sometimes when they think about me, I don't know if they could see me being as serious with the rap thing again. So, but
I could
for
look,
fun,
man. Every track I've heard you on, I've seen the East Coast influence that's impacted your skills. So I think that you all could
but East
do it.
Coast. I mean, you say East Coast influence, like that was hip hop when I came up. It wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't West Coast. It wasn't a lot of down south stuff when I started listening to hip hop. Everything was East Coast, New York influenced around that time. If
I'll
you
be honest with you, I don't like Southern rap. I mean, I'm not gonna say there's not songs I like because I think Jay Electronica is a phenomenal rapper. I think Lil Wayne can rap. I think there's artists from the South that can rap.
Rick Ross can rap.
Yeah, Rick
Yeah,
Rick Ross is in my top 5.
easy.
He's in my top 5. So but they don't rap like the traditional Southern rappers either.
Yeah, they
And I don't like any West Coast rappers other than I don't like Kendrick. I'm not a Kendrick
You don't?
fan. No.
Oh wow.
I think I'm not into rap that sounds weird to me. I mean, like I'm just like when you start sounding like a character,
Yeah,
I'm not into it. Like I'm not like Nicki Minaj can rap, but when she goes into that character mode, I don't like her.
not a
Same
fan.
thing with Eminem. He can put a lot of words together. But sometimes it just sounds like he's putting a whole lot of words together and he sounds really weird. Like sometimes he sounds like a white boy. Like for real to me. Like he don't sound like the artist that made everyone fall in love with Eminem. So like I want to hear you rap and I want to hear a human being. I don't want to start looking at you like a cartoon. That's why I use those 3 characters because they characters to me. But Game in the West Coast is someone that, I mean, he's disrespectful, but I think his delivery, I think his rap is like a game. I feel like he can give it to you in many different formats. He can sound West Coast, he can sound East Coast, he can do all kind of things. I respect him as an artist. He's disrespectful as a person a lot of times, but as an artist, I respect him. But there ain't a lot of artists on the West Coast I can say that for. I mean, I like Snoop Dogg back in the day.
Yeah.
I really was a Snoop Dogg fan back in like Doggy, the Chronic in those days. But I can't think of nobody at the West Coast I really rock with.
Yeah. So now I was really, really influenced by just New York hip hop because that's what made me fall in love with hip hop. So, I don't think it was me gravitating trying to be like, anybody else. I think it was definitely just that was the hip hop that I knew and loved. Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit, off camera. I mean, I personally feel that you could have been and could be, if you chose to be a rapper, like a acting rapper, like a presenting rapper in today's time. I think you could be. And I think that your rap, your delivery, and your style is still very much relevant. Like you don't sound dated at all. So yeah, man. I know that I know you writing some Corona tracks right now. I'm just doing something, man. I'm just saying if this need
Now I rap, I
to
freestyle to myself. Sometimes when I get bored, I put on instrumentals and freestyle.
you record them?
Nah, I don't record them. Sometimes, you know what? My phone. Sometimes I'll record the words or the patterns in my phone, so if I ever want to go back to them. So there's a whole bunch of unused freestyles in my phone. And,
Hey.
and here's another thing, real quick. What I know we were talking about the whole Super Friend Skills thing. Anybody will tell you that Skills and I were probably the most two competitive MCs out of the entire crew. Like there was no situation where either one of us ever wanted to be number two to the other one, ever. And I remember one time it was a freestyle we was doing for somebody's mixtape, and Danger did his verse. Skills did his verse. I hadn't recorded my verse yet. I recorded my verse. Danger didn't directly say that Skills' verse was better than mine, but he said, your verse could have been better. I rewrote it because, you know, I never in a million years ever I never want to be second to anybody as an MC on a song, but definitely not Skills. So, you know, that's always been a peaceful, brotherly, lyrical competition between Skills and I.
Yeah, that's we go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and see y'all. Look, man, Radio, I want you to go and get Skills and Lonnie B to do the classic battle at RVA Rap. Do it for the culture.
Nah, man. Me and Skills will go against anybody else. I mean, I think, you know what I'm saying?
But there we go. So we may be starting else. So like, look, Radio, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, you know what? I take that back, man, because I will say this. I'm not a big fan of the whole wait. My flow, like I'm not a fan of the way that they do the whole battle rap thing. Like I'm old school. Like give me the instrumental. Let's go over the beat. I want to hear your flow, man. I'm not down with that type of battling.
And I'm gonna tell you what, that's a big piece at RVA Rap Elite because like everyone got one beat and everyone goes to that beat, right? But if there's like a 0.5 differential in the score and it goes to a sudden death round, it's a cappella. And unfortunately, the best rapper doesn't always win when there's no beat.
I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan of the no beat battle rap. My guns will do that. My rhymes will do this battle rap stuff, bro. Like, nah, your flow has a lot to do with it. There's some of them guys that I hear, man, I'm just like, yo, yeah, man, it's a couple battle rap dudes that I hear now. Like as a rapper, there was nobody that I ever felt that I wouldn't battle except for Cannabis. Like when I first heard Cannabis rap, I was like, I never would want to battle that dude. But RJ Payne, like when I listen to dudes like that, Loaded Lux, it's a lot of dudes that I listen to and I'm like, yo, that's some next level stuff there. And I heard them get busy over beats. You know what I'm saying? And so as an MC, that I would consider to have been a fearless MC once upon a time, it feels good to see brothers like that lyrically could take somebody's entire ego out of their body with a couple bars, man. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, as we close, you've had the privilege and honor to spend time with two artists who, you know, historically will go down in history as two of the dopest artists ever, and that's been Jay-Z and Aaliyah. And so I was just curious if you could share like what your experiences and spending time around those individuals have been like.
You know, my time around Aaliyah was very short-lived. Like my first time meeting her was actually walking on stage. As I walked on the stage to do my verse in that video, that was my first time meeting her on that stage. I still can't believe that when I was saying my verse and I looked to my left, she was actually saying my verse with me. So that was a very surreal moment. We had a video of that. So, you know, that was crazy. But then afterwards, when we got off the stage, the conversation that we had, again, it wasn't a real long conversation, but she made you feel like, you know, y'all have known each other all your lives. So very, very sweet individual, man. Very humble, very warm, very welcoming. And, you know, I think it's just an honor to even be one of the few people that could say that they had the chance to share that time and space with her.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
And then
How many encounters have you had with Hove? Because I was going to your Instagram, I noticed that. I know he came to Union. Y'all spent time there. I'm imagining he's been to a radio station before. Like
at least I think I've been around him at least 4 or 5 times.
mm-hmm.
I think the most memorable time was I had bumped into him around the time when he dropped "I Just Want to Love You," and there's a picture that I post on social media with me, him, and Dame Dash together. That was that day, and we talked, and he asked me, what was I doing up there? I told him I was the guy on the Aaliyah record, and it was funny because he looked over at Dame when I said Aaliyah, and I didn't know why at that time, but it was because Dame was messing with Aaliyah. And, he was like, which one would you say your verse? I said my verse when I was done. He was like, yo, you was the best one on that record. And we continued to talk. So, I left, and he asked me to send him some stuff. He asked me to send some music to hip hop. I guess that was his A&R around that time. I never sent the music because I felt like he already had his roster, and I didn't want to, I don't know. I think it was probably, fear of failure. There was a couple of reasons why I never sent the music. Then also, even to this day, I could probably say I was a dope MC. I don't know how good of a songwriter I was. I think if you gave me the chorus and you gave me the topic, I could do it. But if you just gave me a track, I was never a great songwriter. And there's a big difference between a dope rapper and a dope songwriter. So needless to say, I never sent the music to him. 5 years later, I was at the Def Jam office again. There was a lot of people in the area. I think Freeway and all of them was around. I was talking, and from nowhere, Hov showed up again. And when I saw him, I said, what's up to him? He said, yo, what's up? You that kid from Virginia, ain't you? I was like, yeah. And we was talking. He looked down at my shoes. He was like, yo, those some dope shoes. What kind of shoes are those? I was like, Polo. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, yo, Hov sitting here asking me about my shoes. Nobody would ever believe that Hov just asked me about the shoes that I had on. So as soon as he walks off, Danger Mouse was like, nigga, Hov just asked you about your shoes, bro. So that's a moment I'll never forget. Then we took a picture. And that's the picture when I had on the New York hat and we was in his office. Then I think the next time I met him was when he came down for the Union thing.
What was you doing at the Def Jam studio?
There was an A&R named Philan. Philan A&R the Music Soul Child project. I think she A&R'd the Red and Meth project. She's from here. And she was trying to give me a record deal. Gotcha. So I was up there. I met Just Blaze through her. A lot of people. She would give me tracks from a whole lot of people. And so I was up there in New York just trying to vibe out.
Yeah, I've never had an introduction to Hov. Like he, you know what I'm saying? But I've definitely I was VIP backstage or in the space with him when he did the American Gangsta album release at I think it was Club Love back then. So okay. I was very close, very close. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was in there and that was a kind of an intimate space. And I mean, I've been to several shows and concerts. I've been in his company, but I've never had the introduction. But like, I was really fanning out on some groupie stuff one time. It was in New York at his 4040 club. I put my business card on every table, in every stall.
Yeah, in case. I
was even dropping names on it, like, yo, I know you know Dana Halls.
Yeah,
I was trying to connect. Dana I know Dana a long time. Dana used to tell me stories.
That's my brother, man. I love Dana. Dana's a good brother, man.
Yeah, Dana had that relationship with him, man. I was like, look, I'm just like, I am a Hov fanatic, like a big Hov fan. So, but thank you for sharing that story with us.
And Dana, real quick, Dana's one of the people, man. There's a handful of people, man, who's always been at my neck about, wanting me to put music out as a rapper. Dana's definitely one of those people, man. Dana has always, showed me a lot of appreciation when it came to being an artist. So shout out to Dana Halls, man. And Enrique, shout out to Tone too, man. Because those I remember one time he bought Hov here. I think he performed.
He shouted you out on the show. When we interviewed him, he said that you was because I asked him, I was like, who was you rocking with? Who was the best? Quite frankly, I think that you said that you can rap. You don't know about making the song. I hear you when you say that, but man, when y'all listen to rappers, whether they make good songs or they don't make good songs, it's just so much garbage music and so much garbage rap out there. There's also a lot of rap that just sounds like it's displaced, in my opinion. It's not. It ain't evolving with the time. Hey, do you consider yourself a procrastinator at all?
Definitely.
Okay, I was curious.
Definitely. I mean,
because I'm sitting thinking, like, man, you didn't send Hov the album.
Yeah.
Spin is ready to go. I saw the studio.
I mean, procrastination partially, perfection is even more.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, trying to be perfect could, lead to procrastination, but I like things to be right. And I believe timing is everything. True story when it comes to Spin, because, a lot of people are talking to me about Spin. I launched Spin January 2019. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I did it prematurely because everybody was doing what they're doing now, saying, yo, you should do it. What you waiting for? And I started to feel the pressure, and I did it, and it didn't feel like I wanted it to feel. So I would never do that again. You know what I'm saying?
Can you describe the feeling that you want?
Huh?
Can you describe the feeling that you want?
I would want there to be a rhyme and reason to what's happening. I want to explain, why is this on? Why is this person on? Why is this type of music being played? You know what I'm saying? Who exactly is the demographic that I'm going after? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that go into building a platform that plays 24 hours that you want people to tune into when you're competing against everything else that plays music in the world. Only a naive person or a person that's, I don't know, that's in a box would think that they could just turn on something and everybody's going to tune into them just because. I understand that it's competition, and when you compete, you know what I'm saying, it's more chess than checkers.
Man,
so
but you have the ability to create the demographic of people within your studio, on your show throughout Virginia. I mean, we got the hair music group popping. That's growing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I'm frustrated, really. But with watching, like, because I seen it, and when I seen it, it was inspirational for me. It gave me a vision, quite frankly. Because I've visited a lot of internet radio stations lately. A lot of people have been trying to plug me in their spots. When I saw that, I didn't think internet radio at all.
So here's the thing. When you think about visually, the one thing I said when we got to space is, I said I want people to walk in here and see this spot, and I want them to know that we're serious just by the energy and the visual when they walk inside the studio. Yeah. I don't want it to be looked at as, halfway done, or, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I want it to be all the way out. So, I talked to interior decorator named Danny. I told him, whatever you see, do it. Here go my credit card, do it. And that's what he did. So I have that same energy when it comes to the product as well. I don't want nobody to just turn on a signal and say, oh, this is just another internet radio station. I want somebody to listen to that station and say, this is an internet radio station? And, part of that is finding the right people and being surrounded by the right team. There's only but so much Kelly and I can do on a radio station that's 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So right now it's just finding the people that would be committed and loyal to the journey.
I'm sure you're going to find it.
Yeah, no, I got quite a few people in mind.
You're going to find it.
Quite a few of them we've talked about earlier today. So
yeah.
Well,
Lonnie, man, it's been a pleasure to have you on, man. I think we took it. I think we went there. Anything you think that we didn't get off that we need to get off, man? Let the smoke go.
Hey, I'm trying to think, man. Not really, man. Again, where I'm at right now, man, I'm in a very peaceful place in life. I don't have no problems with no DJs in the city. I don't have no problems with no rappers in the city, man. I pray that all of them see as much success as they want and even more. We got to get out of the mentality of feeling like there can only be one. Yeah. I think there can be a city full of great DJs. Yeah. There can be a city full of great rappers. And just because somebody don't play your music or just because somebody don't come to your party don't mean that they're a hater neither. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's that. And I guess the last thing is I think we talked about it off record.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of the whole king thing.
Yeah.
The king of Virginia thing or the king of the city thing.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of that. Like, I think that's one thing. Well, I would say when I was younger, that's one thing that used to always bother me. Now, it really doesn't because I think it's a very ego-driven space. I think for me to be bothered by somebody else calling themselves the king, I guess my ego would have to play a role in me feeling a certain type of way about that, to be honest. But, ego or not, I've never felt beneath anybody to feel like, somebody else is the king of music or rap or DJ. So, yes, I guess I'll leave it on the table. I've never been a fan of anybody calling themselves. I don't think that nobody is the king.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
is there some competition within the heavy hitters though when y'all get together?
Never.
Never.
Yo, never. With the heavy hitters, never ever. I've never seen any competition within the heavy hitters. Like, that's really like
nobody trying to king out.
Nobody, no heavy hitter kings, man. We have respect for there's certain brothers that's doing better off than some of the other guys. Like Camilo is probably one of the illest, man, and his brand and the things that he's doing, and everybody respects that. Nobody's trying to say that I got to hold a position that Camilo is in. Nah, Camilo is that guy, and I think everybody in the crew accepts that.
So DJ Lonnie B is gonna be Daddy DJ Lonnie B at the next retreat with daughter Aaliyah.
Yes,
so you got the whole family there now. So,
yeah.
She gets to go, right?
Yeah. No, she'll be. I mean, at this point, there's no way that I can take her and not take the whole family. So we'll definitely be there. The heavy hitter retreat will now be like a Disney trip.
Oh my goodness!
So yeah,
man.
Yeah. So I probably missed out on some of the adult festivities with the fellas, but
that's tough, man. That's tough. We'll be there, man. Look, they can have some women's events. I'm sure there's a lot of other wives and all.
Oh no, but that's the thing when you talk about the heavy hitters evolving, man. Like when we first used to come together and do the retreats, it was just the fellas. And, we'll go to different places and party. Nothing too wild, nothing too crazy. But fast forward to now, when we go to the retreats, a lot of us are there with our wives and our ladies and our kids and our families, and that's super dope to think back to a time we were just young and just going out there to party and do whatever. To now our wives are meeting each other and like, okay, so this is your DJ Enough or you're Lonnie B. Enough has talked about you a lot. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Well, that's great, man. That's great. You make sure you let them know, man, that Virginia is definitely appreciative of everything that they doing. You got Aaliyah now. Yes, that's a historic moment within the heavy hitter family. The first father-daughter situation. Definitely want to I need to get Aaliyah on here, man. We need to do that because she's the future. You know what I'm saying? I'm curious of what she like. What kind of music she listening to?
She would love to do it, man. She would love to do it. Just let me know when.
Yeah, man.
And on top of that, man, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the ad too. You will probably be one of the first people to know about when I'm ready to launch Spin, because when I do, I definitely want you to play a role in it. You know what I'm saying? I think what you're doing with your podcast, we definitely can format it so it could be, more of a radio show type thing. Yeah. And if you're down with it, I definitely would love for you to play a major part. Like if there was a top 5 people that I wanted to deal with when it came to Spin, you definitely would make that top 5.
Yo, so I'm gonna start bothering you, bro.
Let's do it, man.
I'm gonna be just like Kelly. I'm gonna start like, yo, I only live around the corner from you, man.
Yeah.
So, I was riding my bike on Lux Lane the other day. I'm like, I'm coming to encourage you to get this Spin thing going, man.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when you bring that mulch over here and get my yard looking popping. Let's do it.
Yo, that's funny, man. But definitely much respect to you. Kudos on the success. We're looking forward to seeing the Art of Noise return. We're looking forward to seeing Spin. Looking forward to just continuing to see Virginia evolve. And then, again, this is the Heavy Hitter DJ Lonnie B. This is episode 33, part 2. the only part 2 that we've done, and I think we created some smoke here. So y'all make sure
I mean,
y'all tune in for the future episodes.
hopefully nothing that we talked about was taken in a disrespectful manner, because nothing was really presented or brought to the table to be disrespectful. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
none at all.
And hopefully, and hopefully we don't have to do a part 3. You know what I'm saying?
Look, if we have to do a part 3, look,
Yeah.
But
Part
hey,
2 and a half.
I don't think so, man. I really don't, because quite frankly, I asked the questions. I took it as a challenge. I asked the questions that the people wanted to hear.
Mm-hmm.
These are the questions I got together with my group. We all represent different sections. We all run in different groups, different crowds.
Yeah.
In my DM, quite frankly, I was a little bothered by that. I put a post out there and said, "Hey, please drop your comments if you got questions for the heavy hitter." But they all went to my DM.
Yeah.
Not too many, but it's like the ones, the deeper questions I asked, they went there. So
yeah.
it's just kind of how
but
it
feel
is.
free. That's another thing. Like anything we didn't address or that we didn't touch on in this interview that you have that you want the answers to, at DJ Lonnie B. Like, all you gotta do is send me inbox, and I'll definitely address or answer anything, whether that's pertaining to any of the topics we talked about, or if there's any advice I can give anybody. You know what I'm saying? I think I said it in the last interview. The biggest problem I have with it is a lot of people only want to make that connection just to get their music played. And right now it's so much deeper than getting your music played. This whole industry, this whole game is about building relationships.
Yeah.
So I think people need to learn how to do more in this day and time, is building relationship. And what better time than now, because we all at the crib bored. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's
playing on our
real,
phone.
man. That's the reason why I approach conversation the way that I do, though, because like I can find value. There's different value in different relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I want to be a person who's preferential or biased or limiting myself to only having conversations with certain people when there could be a great example? Going back to this guy, like, this guy is created a reason for a lot of people not to like him. Yes.
Yeah.
I could have chosen not to like him. I mean, because go check it out. All right, it's on. If you Google Randy Wilson podcast reaction video, it's gonna come up. Okay. He did a reaction video when I interviewed Young Crazy, and it was comedy though. He was making these faces like, who is this guy? He's like, he just got into it. He just kind of but the thing that it was humor to it. If you look at it from the standpoint that I chose to, it's like, hey, he took the time to create content based off content I've created. I'm flattered.
Yeah.
I'm flattered.
And I think if you go back to the beginning of the interview when you was talking about it, I think I laughed or I was smiling because I was thinking to myself, regardless of how peaceful things could have ended, I definitely wouldn't be wearing this hat if he came at me like that. So
you wouldn't?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't. I mean, I think that's just me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Look.
But you know what? But that goes a lot. That says a lot about your character. You're very from what I've seen about you, you're a very non-confrontational type person. Like you don't seem like the type of person that goes into things looking for beef. I haven't sensed any type of ego or anything, with you. So you being in that position, it totally makes sense. Me, on the other hand, absolutely not. I couldn't.
Look, I'm gonna explain it like this. Similar to you, if I feel I think part of it has to do with my background and what I do in the day to day. Like I have an extreme tolerance for being able to deal with ignorance, ridiculous stuff. I have, but the problem is that if it hits a place that I feel like it's personal and it's like disrespectful to my family and into the nature of who I am, and I can't see past the humor. With this guy, I look at it as entertainment. I can see what entertainment is for what it is and take it for what it is. I mean, initially, don't get me wrong. Initially, I was like, but the thing is this: when I look at the internet, like I respect that there's an industry out there for people who do reaction videos, and quite frankly, I hope that more people do reaction videos on my podcast, because if they do, it's only bringing me fans. Like if you got time to create content based off what I do and how I sound, you fanning out for real.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, fact.
I just don't let things get too. I just don't take those things too personal. Now we all got an ego, and we've talked about that. Yes, but in this position, I feel like the one thing that I got to do to make sure that I can create relevance is I have to be balanced in knowing how to deal with all people. You know, regardless of how young or old, how respectful or disrespectful. At the end of the day, I'm really just trying to get people to tell their truth. And you know, so it's like my opinion, I'll voice it in situations that I feel that it has value. Like, for example, I will say, I'm tired of seeing DJ. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm talking to a DJ, one of the most respected DJs out there, and I'm sick and tired of seeing DJs on live. I really am. I really am. Like, it's not that I'm sick and tired of seeing them. I'm sick and tired of seeing them every day, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think there has to be class to it. You can't do the same thing every day.
Yeah, it's just.
I don't mind saying that. I'll voice my opinion. And
hold up, have you ever clicked on somebody's page by accident and went there and it was just you and the DJ? Like, that's the one thing.
Yet.
Oh man, that's happened to me before. And then they shout you out, then you feel like you got to stay there. Like, it's too much, man. You go to a DJ page, you're on there doing the snake, trying to give people attention. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. So it's almost like they've watered down. I think the whole Cash App thing just, almost remind me of panhandlers, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you almost feel like you gotta, you know what I'm saying? And then when they start shouting it out, like, don't forget to go to that Cash App. I get that feeling of when you go to a store just to look around and somebody's following you around asking you, do you want to buy something? That's the feeling that whole Cash App DJ thing gives me.
Well, yo, man, I appreciate all the feedback. I definitely appreciate, because I'm going to be on you about this spin thing. I'm not lying, man.
Let's go, man. Long as you tell them you could be a part of the team, man, I'm going to speed up the process.
I'm definitely down, man. I'll script these shows to 30 minutes, hour.
That's it. Let's do it, man.
Be time locked in. Make sure you guys tune into the next podcast. I'm bringing in Mark Cheatham and Gigi Broadway with the Sheets Movement, and we're going to talk podcast with you guys. So make sure you tune in to episode 34. And a
lot of love and respect for them too.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Lonnie.
Always, my brother. Peace.
All right, man. Appreciate it.